Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Do pa.
All right then.
Your reaction makes it worth it for me, Tom.
I'm never quite sure what's going to happen, so that's good.
I'm not sure either, to tell you the truth. It could be anything. You know, it's part of the fun, right?
Absolutely.
So how are you today?
I am doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm good. We're winding down the year here, aren't we?
Hard to believe. It's coming to a close, but that's good.
It is, and I still have messed up hair, and it's driving me crazy. So what are you going to do?
I don't know, but let's not talk about your messed up hair. So this week,
let's not.
So I'm Tom Bryce. This is Bob Graham, and this week we have been talking on our Today's Antidote show that we've been doing since March. We're talking about taking stock. You know, as the year comes to end, it's a great time to look back and see what happened. And on Monday, we talked about the destinations achieved. Yesterday, we then focused on challenges faced and or overcome. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about the opportunities ahead, because I think that's one of the things that's missed. Or just not always considered. You know, you look at what happened and you make some evaluation on it. And I think that sometimes you don't think about, okay, well, how did those things lead to what's coming up next? And where are their opportunities? The other thing I think that sometimes happens when we discuss opportunities is that we think about adding. Here's an opportunity to add something. I think it's always an opportunity to take something away that was didn't get the results we expected, didn't work as well as we thought, or because we have something new we want to add, that we might remove something else because we just don't have time to do it all.
I think one of the challenges, Tom, that I face with this task, and I think others that I talk to have described, is if you commit to something that you're going to do, you know, the opportunity, the presumption is you're going to achieve it. You have to get there. And you and I did this exercise yesterday. We went through where we were and where we wanted to go this next year. And we did a couple things in there that I don't know that we'll achieve them. Frankly, I don't think you know if we'll achieve them, but they give us a good goal to look towards. And I think when we talk about opportunities, if you set the opportunity as exactly what you did this year, or what you did 2 years ago. I've talked to someone who said, oh, I'm going to go back to 2019. That was my last real year. If I have the same number of dollars in 2021 as I had in 21 or 2019, that'd be a great year. I don't know that fits. Now, it may for some,
right,
but I think there's got to be some thought about how do you stretch yourself a little bit, because if I'm trying to, my run time is like 12 minutes per mile, not good. If I want to cut it to 10 minutes per mile, that's probably doable. But if I said, Tom, I want to get to 8 minutes per mile, I would do things differently to get to 8. I would have been out this morning running harder. I would have been looking at videos, how to get my Twitch thing to go better. And there's a whole lot I could do. That was it, the muscle twitching or something that works? I'm not that interested. But I think sometimes we choose the lesser goal because we feel like if we don't reach it at the end of the year, it's a failure. And or the end of the month or the end of the week.
Right.
And I know I've gone through that. I had a financial goal for this year. I'm nowhere close to it. I'm not as upset as I would have been a year ago.
I think that, I think it goes back to a little bit about our conversation yesterday is if our opportunity, if the goals that we set or the intentions that we set don't stretch us a little bit, it almost becomes too easy. And we're like, yeah. And as Tim mentioned, I hate that word, that F word that you used.
Hey, watch that.
Get banned. I think there is something in the challenge of trying to achieve it. Hopefully you're not just picking a number out of the hat and saying, oh, this is the number I want to achieve, whether it's in total sales, number of clients, dollars made, whatever, that there is some rationale behind it of why you're choosing it. And so because of that, you say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I see this all the time, though, that sometimes organizations, especially nonprofits, will sit down there and say, hey, you know what? We just are going to increase revenue by 10%. They don't go back and look and say, well, we got a $500,000 gift, or I got a huge client that was a $10,000 client. That client's not coming back. That gift might not come back. The grant that I received, we might not get. So 10% might not be realistic because it's not only 10%, it's 10% plus whatever that huge sale was that you would have to then increase by. And so I think, it's those things, when you look at opportunities, like that's an opportunity. That sale was an opportunity that I was able to take advantage of this year. That opportunity may or may not arrive. Now, you might say your goal is to always find one of those and do more than that. So the 10% might make sense. But just to sit down and say, I'm going to increase by this without any real rationale behind it, I'm not sure that's truly an opportunity. It's more like a dream or a wish or a hope that I don't know that you can put the steps in place to help you achieve that destination.
Right. And the other thing I would add to that, Tom, is that when we're looking at opportunities, it doesn't have to be exclusively something we do by ourselves. You and I have an opportunity here working together, and you can leverage certain things and I can leverage certain things. I've worked with people who didn't see the network around them that they could leverage. Like, well, do you know anyone who is complementary to what you do? Well, what do you mean? I'm like, is there an opportunity there? Could you find someone that does A and you do B, and the result is a C that you both get enriched by? So I think opportunities don't have to be the narrow Bob does, Bob does, Bob does. It can be Bob and Tom can do things. Bob and Tim can do things. Bob and other people can do things. Or just, I really need to find someone who, boy, it'd be really great to work with a lawyer, because a lawyer could really feed me the kind of people I'm looking for. One of my opportunities this year is to find a lawyer that we can start working together with. That would be a perfectly good goal for the year. That's not a financial goal. That's not a number of clients goal, but it's a way to look at your business differently.
Right. Well, I think I think sometimes we don't think about all the opportunities that we have. I would suggest that one opportunity somebody could look at is, especially if you're inside our Facebook group, is how do I connect and engage more to the people in this group? How do I use this opportunity that's in front of me? How do I use the opportunity of my LinkedIn network? How do I use the opportunity of a tool that I just, bought? I hate to bring this up because it's almost the end of the year, and I thought maybe we'd finish the year without it. Is we've got this bots tool that you purchased. Like, that is an opportunity.
I can't believe you brought it up, not me.
And it's an opportunity that we have to figure out, is that something that we want to try to leverage this year or not? You think about all the Facebook groups that people are a part of. There are opportunities there. It's just how you choose to go about it and how much time do you want to dedicate towards that opportunity to see whether there is a return. And I think that's one of the beauties of the Ring of Renegades Facebook group is there's a group of people in there who for some reason identify themselves as a renegade. And so that means we have that in common. How do I find more people in there that I want to work with, that I want to connect and engage and know more, know well,
Better.
to help us work and move forward? And I think that we sometimes are so limited in the opportunities that we see, that our scope isn't broad enough of all the things that we have done over the course of this year, and where within all of those things are there potential opportunities that we can try to leverage next year.
Or something you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Right.
There's no law that says it has to be 2020 only. It could be something you did when you were in 12th grade. If it's got the opportunity, it could very well have the opportunity now. I do want to say one thing, Tom, because you said it several times in what you just said. The opportunity to connect with people within the Ring of Renegades does not mean that you should start slamming ads for what you do in there. That's not going to it's not going to score you points, and it's not going to make you reach any kind of success. And we've seen in that group, it self-polices. When people just put shameless self-promotion in there, the net result is very little reaction.
Right.
When they offer to serve people, when they help people, we've seen great examples of people have really been kind and given of themselves in what they've posted and how they've responded to people. They're the ones who seem to get the attention and the business. So I wanted to make sure we didn't spend the next 3 days with, I'm Joe, the financial advisor. Check out my financial advisor page and I can save you $20,000 a month. That's not what we're looking for.
No, and I think that's as we look at every opportunity, we have to figure out, like, with every opportunity, there are obstacles and there are challenges and other things that we'll talk more about tomorrow. And I think that we have to understand how to best leverage that opportunity and not waste it. Perfect example is on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm seeing this more and more all the time is someone sends me a connection notice. Okay. For some reason, they felt like we had the opportunity that might make sense to connect. So I connect. Now there is an opportunity for each of us to explore how this connection might be beneficial. Well, if the next message I get for them is, hey, you should buy this or have this great deal for you. They've
Or I built this thing thinking of you and you've never even met them.
Correct.
I like that one.
Yeah. So they have lost an opportunity there. I mean, yes, maybe someone responds positively to that, but likely people are either going to not respond, going to unconnect, or just not going to even consider that as an opportunity to figure out how you move forward together, how you add value to one another in a way that is really a connection, not just a pitch.
I'm going to put Tim's comment up there. Tim says, my best opportunities come with allying myself with other like-minded professionals, regardless of what they do. Creating synergy creates opportunity. And I think that's really an interesting point, that you don't have to look for people who are exactly what you're looking for. Like, Tom, if you think about it, you and I could be competitors very easily. We do things that, I could see a time if we weren't as aligned as we are, where we would both be competing for the same job. That doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that we couldn't help each other with our businesses, and also give access to each other to our network. You connected me with a lawyer, Holly, who's been great for me personally, for my family, for countless friends. That didn't hurt you. That didn't hurt me. And I think I would add to what Tim says, that when you align yourself with like-minded people, you find the ways to work together. It just fits like a glove, and it's like, here we are, Tom.
Well, I think you see the opportunity differently. You see the opportunity to build a relationship, to know, like, and trust someone. And then you figure out how it works as you go along. Sometimes, even though you know, like, and trust them, things just don't work out. It's just, you just don't have the opportunity to share, connect, engage, whatever. It just hasn't arrived yet. Hasn't shown itself as where it could add additional value. It doesn't mean that the connection or the opportunity didn't make sense to take advantage of or to connect with. It just hasn't worked yet. And I think that's the piece, is that it's there, and there is an opportunity, and there will continue to be an opportunity. And the opportunity is going to be greater given the fact that you connected on a more engaging way, rather than just somebody's taking something from someone else, trying to. That I think there's better chance that future opportunities will arrive.
So Tom, can I do the one thing today? That one thing that's going to like help us go forward with this insight that we've had this morning? Please, please, can I?
Sure.
So this is our today's antidote. Each day we give at least one of these. Our goal is to give you something that you can chew on and maybe cogitate on. And, ooh, big word, cogitate. My father was a big fan of the word cogitate. It means to think intently, I think. I never looked it up. I don't even know how to spell it. Is it a G or a J? No one knows. Who cares? Anyway, the one thing that can move you forward, and the one I would like to offer today, Tom, and you can reinforce it, or you can say not so much. For me, it's looking broader at opportunities beyond what's right in front of me, but what's out there beyond my usual frame of vision. You know, I think we have the vision of like 35 degrees. I want it to be about 360 degrees, because there are things from my past that I can use going forward that I sometimes discount, think, well, I did that before. You know what? Sometimes that comes into play. I find the more I can stack the things that I've done, the more opportunities I find, and the better I get at things, because I have a background of doing things, you know, that people may or may not know. And it's not like I consciously say that, but they do align. And I think for most people, they tend to think about, this is the lane I'm in right now. I only swim breaststroke. Well, that doesn't mean you can't do freestyle. Doesn't mean you can't do the backstroke. Doesn't mean you can't do other things. You could be a diver. You're in the water. You know how to swim.
Right.
You could stretch. And I think so often we get into that narrow swim lane and never change it. I see Steve's got a comment. I'm going to put it up there and read it real quick, Tom. I had someone connect with me on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago that led off with a very soft pitch that seemed reasonable. So I offered to have a live conversation with them. Then they sent an assistant to the conversation, didn't show up themselves. I don't think that their service is something I'm looking for. I'd be more interested in recommending them to other people if they'd shown up themselves. Yes, the old bait and assistant switch trick.
Yeah, I think they're just, LinkedIn is a huge opportunity. Facebook is a huge opportunity, and it can be a lost opportunity if you don't choose to use it in a way that is what the opportunity is intended for. The opportunity is intended to create connections. It isn't necessarily there it's why they're called social media. It's a way to connect and engage with others, and then figure out. And connect and engage doesn't just mean I send you a message and say, hey, do you want to connect? And you say yes. To me, connect is, I want to learn more about who and what you are. You know, I had somebody send me a message that was a little bit like that. And so I took the time, I went to their feed, their LinkedIn feed, to find out something about them. And it just so happens they also coach basketball. So my response was not about their pitch, it was not about what I do. It was about, hey, you know what? I played basketball all my life, and I used to coach a little bit too. You know, I think that's something that we have in common that would be fun I'd love to explore more about, so that we're getting to know one another. We're not just trying to sell people on what we have. Again, it goes back to like, what is real for your audience and what's real for you, and how do those things come together to form what could be a good partnership that's going to add value.
I want to put up Steve's comment, which is he spelled cogitate presumably correctly. And thank you, Steve. I've used that word. I've heard that word, but I've never written that word down. I'm going to commit to figuring out a way to use it today.
Why?
Maybe I can edit it into my book.
Why?
And we haven't had this for a little while, Tom, so I want to make sure we get Frank in here with this, Tom. And in addition, ever since my birthday, we have Bob, which I like. And
Is that what that word is?
Spells it correctly. Is that what it is? You went there.
Well, somebody might look at it and be like, what is that word? But anyhow, that's all right.
Yeah, you've already used it, Bob. Oh, good point, Steve. Wow, the comments are coming in fast and furious today. Sometimes the one thing gets buried. Yes, the one thing gets buried. We do bury the one thing sometimes.
Well, I think for everyone's perspective is a little different, right? They listen and hear to this differently. And just because we identify the one thing at the end doesn't mean that there weren't other things that people pick up in the middle that were to them more valuable at the time. It hit what was real for them at the moment. And so, yes, we pick out our one thing, and others have the opportunity to identify other one things that are more valuable at the moment based on where they are than what we feel is the one thing that's real at that time. I think that's the beauty of it, is that hopefully it creates some conversation and some thoughts within people that give them a chance to say, hey, you know what? This is something that can help me today. Even though it's not exactly where they were going, but it has triggered an idea, a thought, or a comment, or a belief, or an opportunity for them to move forward. You know, you talked about what the opportunity was. Someone may have looked back and said, hey, you know what? I never thought about the Ring of Renegades as a group of people to really connect and engage, or all the Facebook groups that I'm in, that there is an opportunity to meet more people. And in meeting and connecting and engaging with more people, there's an opportunity to add value and probably get something back in return.
There's another reason, Tom, why we sometimes bury the one thing, and I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. I think some people think that we program this and we know exactly where we're going with each discussion. We really don't. This is one of the things that you and I have really gotten comfortable with, which is we have the topic, we kind of have a feel for what the topic is, but we don't pre-script it, we don't pre-plan it. I don't think we've had the one thing in the whole time of this program. We've known the one thing in advance. We've never had discussion where it's like, okay, the whole goal of this discussion is to get to this thing. And I think that's why sometimes it comes organically. And I've listened back to some of our programs. I'm like, wow, I don't know how I got there. And I think that's part of what it is. So it's not so much we bury it as we find it. We are uncovering it in real time and allowing people to understand our thought process, because that's a way to expand someone's mind on how they look at their business. You know, we're figuring it out like everyone else. Tim says, Bob, no one thinks that you program this stuff.
Well, I think the beauty is that we allow what's real at the moment to come through, you know, and I think it's the same to me as when you try to connect with someone. If your sole intent to connect is to sell to them, okay, chances are you're not going to get to where you think you're going to get, because their sole intent might not be to buy. And, you know, if you're trying to predetermine this is where this has to go, sometimes you don't get there. You know, we could start this conversation with an intent of the one thing being whatever it is. But somebody posts a great comment and we're like, oh, yeah, we're going to ignore that. And we're just going to keep going because we're trying to get to this destination. And that's the only thing that matters. And I think that I hope the value is that people along the way are also identifying what their one thing is. You know, like it would be fascinating to hear those people who comment is, okay, what's your one takeaway from this conversation? Because when we get to it, it's like, yeah, that's what we're sharing. Doesn't mean that that's what they believe or that they see or that they find value in.
I like Michael's comment, express from the soul with good common sense. And Tom, for the record, if Michael is suggesting that I am demonstrating any common sense, that will be a first in my life.
I don't know about that. Oh, you're being unfair to yourself.
Yeah, maybe so. Tom, I'm going to do a plug for the Ring of Renegades Facebook group because I just posted in there. I don't know if you saw it. I did it right before we started. I posted an article from the New York Times. It's a video of the person who came up with the song Dance Monkey. I think she's Australian. I've never heard of it, but
No, either.
she explains how she got to this point where she has a very, very popular song. It's been #1 in 20 countries. It's a big deal in the music world, but she talks about the hard work of busking, performing her songs on the street in the rain, in the snow, when no one else would be out there, and how much her hard work paid off. And if you're in a place today or any day where you're like, boy, I don't know if I can get up and do this another day, watch her, because she really brings it to life and really talks about, she says in the beginning of this maybe 8-minute piece, everyone thinks that I just had fame just hit me. She's like, they don't realize the story, the amount of effort that goes into it, and the time. And she lived in her car. She lived with her manager in a basement there. I mean, it's really an inspirational story. And if you're old like me and you've never heard of Dance Monkey, it's good to be able to know that in case you're around the family one day and someone's like, hey, let's play Dance Monkey. Not that I could do it for you, but we'll see. And who knows? Maybe I'll find Dance Monkey and perform a little Dance Monkey in the Ring Renegades later today. Could happen.
I think that's now become a must. Although that might go back to your comment about common sense, but I think that would be well, it just goes to show that I think that, we never always understand how someone got to where they are. You look at Mark Zuckerberg and everybody thinks that, oh yeah, I mean, he's just made him $1 billion with Facebook. If you watch that movie,
or the
Facebook, right? Whether the movie is real or not, you see the struggles and the challenges that people have. For most people, we never pull back the curtain to find out, how did they get to where they are? How are they having the success that they had? Rarely.
It's a great discussion. If you want to start a real discussion with someone, that's a great place to start. Tell me how you got to this place.
Right.
It is enlightening in such amazing ways where you just hear from people and they'll be like, I just had this thing stuck in my head and I couldn't get it out. Or I got lucky. I worked at this job and I realized this thing. I mean, I ask people all the time, and they don't have to be people making $1 million. I would ask someone who's just starting their business, what made you think this was the thing? And when you get them to really answer it, it's inspiring in every case. And it's so unique and so individual. And to get back to our point for the day, it's seizing on an opportunity.
Sure.
Every single time. And I think that's why I posted that piece in the Ring of Renegades today, because it really is talking about, she saw the opportunity and she did the hard work to achieve the result. And the result far exceeded her expectation. She just wanted to perform music.
Right.
And she did that. But then she had the song, and I see on Facebook, Jessica gave a comment. Oh, heck, I can't. There it is. One of Finn's, her son's, favorite Dancing in the Mirror songs when he was first born. So apparently this, is it Dance or Dancing Monkey? It's Dance Monkey. So Tom, I'm encouraging you sometime later today to go to your Spotify or Pandora and look up Dance Monkey.
Okay, I will do that. And we hope that we'll all get to see you dancing inside the Ring of Renegades. So if that is not incentive enough for you to join the Ring of Renegades to see Bob, against maybe his better sense, dancing to Dance Monkey, please.
If I do it, will you do it, Tom?
I don't know. I'm not committing to anything.
Okay. All right.
You're the funny one in the group, so that would be out of character for me to do it.
Okay. All right. You could break character. It's allowed.
You never know what might happen.
Okay.
So if you are enjoying this conversation or conversations like this, maybe conversations like this about how to move forward, how to
Dance Monkey is.
Correct. Maybe the opportunity is to join the Ring of Renegades and find people that you can connect and engage with that might add value to your life or your business or your work going forward next year. And so you can do that by going to Facebook, typing in Ring of Renegades. It's a private group because, again, we want it to be people who are committed to what they're doing and the people in the group. All you have to do is tell us why you're a renegade, and we will admit you to the group, and you have a chance to connect with the members who are there. So I'm going to put up a video that talks a little bit more about that. Thanks for joining.
You and I, Tom, are in that group every day. This is not one of those groups where we walk away and we are there every day. You're commenting all day throughout the day. I'm posting things. We're liking people's comments. We're responding to comments. We're responding to posts. This is not have fun, guys. This is
not a selling point.
What's that?
Maybe that's not a selling point.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So if you use the hashtag don't pay attention to this, Tom and Bob, we will not respond to that item.
There you go.
Watch how many of those we get this week.
I guarantee there'll be one from Tim. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And John.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, or we will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Have a great day, and we will see you soon. Take care.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish those next steps.